What is good, folks, tonight? How are you doing? It is your man, Donald King, back again. You know, we do these Monday podcasts and whatnot. I'll be honest in saying I didn't want to do one today. I'm not in the best emotional space right now. You know, every now and again, it's like I let you guys in on what's going on in my personal life, but it's like that's for me and whoever else is in my inner circle. I don't really get into it too much, you know what I'm saying? You know, I talk about some of the difficulties that come along with this particular role. And I'll say it like this. A lot of days, more days than not, you're just drained. You're just fucking, everything is dumped out of you. More good goes out of you than comes back into you. And, well, you feel beat up and broken down. But the show must go on. And that's the reason why I even mentioned that. The show must go on. You can't let your emotions dictate what you will and will not do. A lot of times you're just going to have to power through shit. That's part of being brave. That's part of facing reality and learning how to adapt through uncertainty and through distress and through discomfort. You have to learn how to press through. You know? Which brings us to the point of today's topic. Managing your emotions. We all have to learn how to manage our emotions. Okay? You know, there are several reasons for that, but the main reason you want to learn how to manage your emotions is because they take such a heavy toll on you that if you don't get used to managing them, they will crush you each and every time. You lose your focus, you lose your ability to recognize and sync up with the world around you, all because you get just bulldozed by emotions. And, well, you have to learn how to power through that shit. You have to learn how to keep your focus and keep your mind through elation and through misery. You have to learn how to keep your wits about you. You have to learn how to be in sync with reality and not drawn into the internal narrative and the raging storm at sea of emotions that just will wash you away each and every time. You know? Managing emotions is tough, man. It's really tough. You know, I don't think that there are any tools society provides to people to help them learn how to manage these emotions. I was trying to figure out how to describe emotions from a principle standpoint because, again, I'm always sort of reading principles and I'm trying to translate what I see into the English language in real time. But basically, an emotion, and I'm going to see if I can describe this right, it's sort of a sensation that is produced by the apperception, which I guess serves to steer the individual actor towards external phenomena or steer them away from it. When you come across something that you like or that makes you happy or that's exciting, you're drawn to it. And when you come across something that's distressing or makes you feel uncertain or insecure, you want to get away from it. And I would say this, emotion it happens mostly within the apperception, right? At least the spectrum of emotions that humans experience. It happens from within the apperception. And again, the apperception and or perception is the mental faculty and process of the ego parasite. Ego parasite is an entity. It's a living thing that's sort of symbiotically attached to, in a non-mutual fashion, the human host, and it uses perception to sort of steer the human host into pursuing and indulging in substances and behaviors that will produce effects on the flesh that ultimately serve to heighten hormone and neurotransmitter levels towards feeding this physical parasite that resides inside the human body. Oh, Tierra Burrell has joined in. Not in a healthy way. I don't know what that is in relation to, sis. A little expounding would be sweet. Anyway, how you doing? I hope you're doing good. I didn't say we need to catch up. But yeah, the point of I guess the point that I'm making is that, you know, you have to learn how to manage your emotions. You can't go around blowing up on everything and everyone that doesn't make you feel good, or that doesn't, I don't know, serve to comfort you through emotional turmoil that you experience from within. You can't. I've been in a couple of bad relationships in my life, you know. And, you know, a lot of times people, they want to use you to sort of release their negative emotions and negative feelings into. You're their emotional punching bag. And, well, and I'm not talking about just, you know, romantic relationships. I'm talking about friendships and family relationships too. They look for things to release all of their negative energy into because they never learned how to face and deal with their emotions. Let me see. Society has a factor for emotions. Yeah. Okay, yeah. You know what? It's like, you know what? And I'm gonna co-sign that, Tierra. You're absolutely right. Society, it gives humans aggression and competition as outlets for emotion, but it doesn't help them learn how to manage emotions. It just basically teaches them to aggress against people and to release their negativity into someone else so that they feel better after they're relieved of the charge. You know? It's a very unfortunate thing. A lot of people, the only thing that they know how to do is take their anger and frustrations out on others instead of actually facing and dealing with the things that make them feel insecure and uncertain in life. I deal with this on a regular basis. Many people come to me with all of their anger and their rage and their aggression, not because I'm doing anything to them or going out of my way to make them feel uncomfortable, but how I perform and the things that I say. Well, these things, they don't match these individuals' inner stories. And instead of dealing with the fact that what I'm saying doesn't match their inner stories, or more importantly, the fact that their inner stories shouldn't be so fragile that they get triggered by anyone saying things, making sense in ways that don't reflect the meanings and symbols and beliefs and ideals and values that they've internalized and seek to self-actualize through back to them. People don't know how to manage their emotions. It becomes very toxic. Because, you see, the problem is a lot of times when people don't know how to manage their emotions properly, again, they only know how to release them into others, or conversely, they become emotionally dependent on others. And they look for someone to help bring calm to this raging sea inside of them that they never learned how to tame. If someone makes you mad, does it give you the right to kill them? No. If someone, I don't know, strikes your fancy and you're already bonded to someone else, do you have a right to betray your partner to go and satisfy this new interest over here? No. If you don't learn how to manage this wellspring of of feelings inside of you. They will forever batter you and enslave you and use you up until there is nothing left of you but a husk of a human. Oh, Brother Ruben, what's good with you, man? Hey. Exactly, Sierra. Yo, Ruben writes, the best tool I've seen so far for learning emotional control is a mentor. I'm a mentor these days. The first thing I taught this kid was emotional control. Very good. You know, mentors are very useful. Mentors are very useful, but, and I'll say this. There's a difference between a teacher and an educator. And hopefully anyone who takes on a mentor role, I'm sure, you know, you and I, we've discussed this ad nauseum, Brother Ruben, but, you know, a teacher and an educator gives a person information. A teacher gives people paths to understanding so that they can start syncing up with reality independently of what the teacher tells them. The goal is, pardon me, the goal is to, if you're giving someone tools to help them learn how to manage, if you're giving someone tools to help them learn how to manage themselves from within, then ultimately those tools should lead them away from your inner story and lead them away from their inner story and have them focused in the direction of reality. Again, reality is what exists and functions mutually independent of idealism and, by proxy of that, the internal narrative, the inner story. Managing your emotions is crucial. If you're online and you see all these angry people running around the very second that someone says something that doesn't validate their internal narrative, they have to go around policing people and, you're wrong! All this extra shit for what? It's because they never learned how to manage their emotions. They're easily triggered. Easily triggered. You ever try having a conversation with someone who doesn't know how to manage their shit? You say one thing that slightly disagrees with their inner story, and they can't even wait for you to finish getting your idea out before they have to chop it down, before they have to speak on you. They don't even have all the information. But because they haven't learned how to manage their emotions, the only thing they know how to do is react. Not managing, or I would say having an unchecked emotional gate, it's a liability. It makes you easily exploitable. It makes you easily exploitable. Here we go. Uh-oh, we got more people. Uh-oh. Sister Bernadette. Hey, my sis all the time. She is so aggressive and tired of being bullied by her. She is so aggressive, and tired of being bullied by her all my life. Absolutely. You know what? I grew up under bullies. I grew up under bullies. You know, I was basically an emotional punching bag. I was something for people to release their anger and frustrations into. And, you know, it's a very parasitic way to interact with someone. When you treat somebody like they're something to just release your frustrations into, basically you're like, yo, you live exclusively for my benefit. You're here to make me feel better and never do anything to usurp this sort of position of dominance I've assumed with respect to our relationship, because you were always beneath me and you were always something for me to dump into. That's what happens with a lot of people here in the United States, especially when it comes to the subject of racism. You have African Americans here, and I use African Americans, but it's really all racist, really. You have African Americans here who make up 13% of the population, and then a large swath of predominantly, not even say predominantly, a much larger group, a group that outnumbers this tiny population with the fewest resources, 5 to 1. They fight for the right to bully black people. They fight for the right to bully black people. Anything that comes along that says, hey, they're bad, that means you're allowed to take your anger and frustrations out of them. There's anger and frustrations out on them. Well, they'll believe it. They'll believe any bad thing they hear about a black person because it's someone for them to ultimately release their anger and frustrations into. Same thing with an abusive mate. An abusive mate will believe, literally with no evidence whatsoever, they'll concoct and believe stories about their significant other that basically justify why they should be allowed to release their anger and frustrations into them. Having a bad day at work, come home, take it out on your spouse. Someone made you mad at the gym, come home, take it out on your spouse. In some cases, take it out on your kids. Take it out on someone. Just never deal with it yourself. Never deal with it yourself. We're all responsible for learning how to manage our emotions. Because, you see, emotions happen in the inner story. They happen in idealism and in the internal narrative. The impacts you make on reality, well, those things happen in reality. Just recently, I heard about this story. I think it was last night. My grandma was watching the news or something to that effect. And there's this huge sort of there's a medical group out in California who just settled out of court because a huge lawsuit had been brought against them because they had monopolized the entire medical industry in this particular area of California, and they were continuing to expand. Now, you see, the problem is, in their inner stories and their dialogues, they were following their emotional path, of which greed is an emotion, just in case you're unaware of that. The desire for more, even when it's not necessary, even when it's not essential. Look at the damage they caused in reality, just following their unchecked emotions. Competitiveness. It's an emotion. Aggression, because is it competitive? Competition, narcissism, aggression. These are triune. They're based in emotion. Following this path to acquire the most and to beat everyone and to feel the most important, it caused them to make negative impacts on people in reality. Now, in doing so, they created a ripple effect throughout the system of society wherein they raised the stress level. They've raised the stress level in society, which has caused humans, by proxy of the hive mind, to become exponentially more aggressive. Because, again, this is all mechanical. So the more aggressive society is the more damage it does to the planet. The more damage it does to the planet is the more this planet is thrown out of balance and the more that they hurt the universal organism. This is all interconnected. If you let your emotions sucker you in to destroying pieces of reality or contributing to the destruction of reality and building blocks therein, you have to answer for that shit. In the same way that if you're angry and you decide to kill a person, you have to answer for that shit. Is your frustration, is your rage ever an excuse for you to murder someone? Is your fear ever an excuse for you to steal the most and hoard? Does your uncertainty give you the right to harm others and destroy systems and take all of your violence and insecurity and rage out on other people? No. It is your responsibility to manage your shit. Yours. You don't get to say, "Oh, hey, reality, I was, they made me mad, so it's like, I committed a genocide." No, you don't. It doesn't work that way. You don't get to say, "Hey, well, I was super happy, so we just won the game, so I lost control of myself and I just started destroying shit." No. No. Your emotions don't give you a pass in reality. It is your job to learn how to manage that shit. Oh, we got some more people down here. Let me see. All right, Brother Rube. Hey. Okay, oh, for sure. I do not impose onto him my own preconceptions. I simply give him the tools to navigate his life in a more proper fashion. His story is not my story. Some tools are universal and should not be corrupted by subjective perception. Absolutely, that's a great idea. I think that's a great way to interact with others. I'm in sort of a I guess mentor role just in the grand scheme of things. I mean, I interact with people on a very regular basis, and I don't try to impose my own thoughts and ideas onto them. I simply describe principles according to how I see and understand them, and through me sharing these things, hopefully they glean whatever it is that they're supposed to from my conveyance. But their journey is not about me. And even recently I had to come to terms with that. Like, other people's journey isn't about you. Sometimes you have to fall back, and I had to remind myself of that just recently. So we're on one accord in that way. Brother, absurd the word. Let's see. If emotions are the sensations used to motivate towards action, how does attempting to honestly assess a situation affect our emotions? Ooh, man, that's a beautiful question. That is a beautiful question, good sir. Ooh, because it's like now you're delving into honesty. Honesty is scary, especially on the front end. Especially on the front end. Honesty is scary as fuck. I'll be honest with you in saying this. Man, it's like even now, I have moments where it's like I literally have to break myself down and force myself to be honest. But in doing so, I force myself to become brave. Okay? So when you assess a situation emotionally on the front end, you'd be like, that bitch did this, and you're ready to go off, right? Like, you angry, like you hate it. You hate it. And then you sit back here and you have to honestly assess roles within the situation. And then you have to, even worse than that, you have to let go of your sense of righteousness. You have to let go of your sense of justice. That hurts. And you say, this isn't fair, this isn't fair. But when you look at the situation and you look at it sort of from a dynamic point of view, you're kind of looking at it from above like, oh, this isn't about me. Shit. Yeah, most of my pain in this is coming from the fact that I was making this about me. I have to change that. I have to do that. I have to make the adjustment here, because at the end of the day, regardless of what they do, it is my job to manage my emotional state. Yeah, I'm angry. Yeah, I want to blow up. Yeah, I want to thump my chest, and I want to. But at the end of the day, all the hurt that I feel inside, all the pain, that's happening in idealism. All the emotion, that's happening in my inner story. If I want to get rid of that emotion, there's nothing I could do to get even. There's nothing that I could do to get even. The only thing I can do to heal and to find inner balance is to sync back up with reality and come out of the inner story. Maybe I should focus on that instead. And it hurts. It hurt letting go of your desire for justice, letting go of your desire for moral symmetry. Oh man, dog, it hurts. It hurts like a son of a bitch. I'm going to tell you this right now. It's like one of the things that bothers me more than anything is when somebody lies on me. When somebody lies on me, I immediately feel this strong urge, this desire to make it right. How dare you lie on me? I am an upstanding. This is a house of learned doctors, not some stepbrothers, but no. But it's like no. It's like I go out of my way to be a good person to everyone. And when someone lies on me in order to justify their inner story, part of me really wants to lay into them like, how dare you? I mean, like, why are you trying to besmirch me in order to preserve you? And I'm ready to go off and falling back to principles in that situation where the only thing you want is justice. It's hard. It's even hard for me now, and I've already passed enlightenment, if that's what you call it. This shit is hard. But it's essential because, again, you have to manage your shit. Let me see. What else we got down here? Let me see. More so, how do we know if our emotions are legitimate? Okay, that's a great question, Absurd. How do we know if our emotions are legitimate? Well, I'll say it like this. I don't know if any... emotions are legitimate. Okay, so this gets kind of tricky because there are two primary emotions and then are two primary states in reality that all emotions are based on. Okay, so you have the emotion of love and you have the emotion of fear. All of reality is comprised of these two primary functions, love and fear. Love is simply bonding. Love is simply bonding. Fear is distance and separation. In reality, love and fear, they form balance. They form spatial relevance. Okay? Some things are going to be closer together. They're going to be bonded a little bit more. Some things are going to be separated, distanced. Okay? Now, these are the two main functions that of feeling that comprise what we would refer to as emotion. The problem is through perception, these phenomena, these effects, they get distorted into something different. So love becomes acquisition through the parasitic mind, and fear becomes it becomes loss. So the perceptive mind transforms love and fear into acquisition and loss. That's what the parasitic mind does. Now, when you are bonded, like let's say for instance you have a lover. Let's say you guys are bonded together on a spiritual level, right? Let's say your soul is interconnected with theirs. If you get forcibly removed from them, it wounds you. Why? Because it's forced separation. So when you have that forced separation, you're going to feel hurt. In the same way that if someone cuts your arm, you start bleeding out, the pain that you experience there, it falls back to, it falls back to forced separation. So in situations like this, there's going to be a wound. There's going to be wounds. If you lose your child, the emotion that you feel, we would perceive it as loss for losing a child, but you were forcibly separated from someone. The balance between bonding and separation was distorted. It was destroyed. And it causes you a great deal of pain in the same way enduring a physical wound would. In these cases, your feelings are legitimate. When you feel a strong desire to bond with someone, like for me, if I come across a woman who strikes my fancy in that way, and I feel a desire to bond with her, and she feels a symbiotic desire to bond with me, and this always going to be through mutualism, when you listen to that, you get an intuitive connection like you, and she's like you, and y'all just sync. That shit is legitimate. Now, when you start trying to turn it into a thing where you own each other and you treat each other as acquisitions, then you're looking at it through the perceptive mind. You're looking at it through the parasitic mind, because parasites think in terms of acquisition and loss, tracing back to this phenomenon of exploitation. Okay? So legitimate emotions like bonding between a parent and a child, or between two lovers, or even family members, that's legitimate. That's legitimate. But when you start looking at someone like they're, I don't know, something for you to acquire and exploit, then the shit is fucked up. Bernadette's crying. Oh, Hercules. Let me see. Brother Rube, I believe your emotions are always legit, but your reaction to them might not be right. Your job is to figure out why you feel the way you do, not to figure out what you owe, positive or negative, to the person or situation that created it. You know what? I'll co-sign that. And in the sense that it goes back to the point of you have to learn how to manage your emotions. You have to learn how to manage your inner shit. You can't just let these feelings pop up and steer you into doing things that may not be, well, in your own best interest, but also cognizant of the sorts of impacts you're making on the world around you. If you go around here and you just start breaking shit and destroying shit because you feel mad on the inside, your anger doesn't replace it doesn't replace the damage you've caused. Once you've gotten this anger out of your system because you got a chance to destroy something, there's still the mess you made that has to be dealt with. If you're a narcissist, then you think, hey, someone else will deal with my shit. Someone else will clean up behind me because my experience and my emotions and my inner sense of justice and my inner story is more important than everything and everyone around me. And as long as I feel okay, then fuck everyone else. Fuck everything else. My feelings and beliefs are the only things that matter. So, again, the main thing we have to be cognizant of is wow, what is this? Okay. Main thing we have to be cognizant of is managing our shit. A lot of days I don't feel like doing this. There are days I want to give up and quit. It's true. You know, I'm recently divorced. I lost my family after doing everything in my power to be the best mate I could be. And husband, father, whatnot. Everything in me wants to crawl into a cocoon. Crawl into a cocoon and lick my wounds. But there's shit to be done. There's shit to be done. And I gotta get her done. Some days I don't feel like getting up and doing anything. And on those days, you know what I do? I get up and start exercising and cleaning up. You know why? Because fuck that voice that tells you not to do it. If you listen to that little voice inside you tell you, you're broken, you can't, you hurt too bad, you start believing it, well, you become suggestible to it. It can get you to do anything. In order to maintain your frame of reference, you have to learn how to power through shit, even when you don't feel like it. At least that's the way it works for me. I don't let my desire to do things, which again is based in emotion, dictate whether or not I'm going to do them, or dictate whether or not I'm going to give it my best. Because emotions aren't real. You know why they're not real? Because only you experience them. Only you experience your specific emotional set. In accordance with the stimulations that are used to motivate you one way or the other, it is you who only experience your unique emotional set, which means that it is tied to your inner story. The inner story is fundamentally divorced from reality. See, whether or not I'm hurting or whether or not I've experienced some feeling of loss or perceived some feeling of loss, at the end of the day, does life stop around me? Does anything slow down? If I'm near an active volcano, am I going to be able to say to the volcano, stop, I'm going through some shit right now? Is that the way reality works? If a car is speeding towards you, are you going to, with no way to stop, is your emotions, is your inner story going to stop that motherfucker from running you over? No. You have to get out of your inner story and sync up with reality. You have to sync up with what's going on around you. What's happening in reality has nothing, it doesn't have shit to do with what you feel or believe. Get in the flow of life. If you get in the flow of life, then you come out of that inner story. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things that it's like I teach people when, they come to me with their problems and they're wanting to get past, bouts of depression and things of this nature. What I always tell them to do, write out a list of things that you're going to accomplish before the end of the day. Make sure that you accomplish everything on that list before the day is done. Make sure, and don't make it easy shit all the time either. Make sure that you got some exercise on there. Make sure that you got little things that you can do that you can affect in the world around you. The reason why I tell people to do that is because, one, marking off things off a list is going to boost your serotonin levels. So that serotonin to the ego parasite is kind of like starches. So it's like, fucking potatoes and rice and shit like that. It sits in the system a little bit better. It raises your blood sugar a little bit more, but that's the way it works. That's the way serotonin works in the apperception. But more importantly than giving you a serotonin boost, what it does is it starts making you pay attention to how you're able to impact on the world around you. Making lists, marking things off. It helps people come out of the inner story and sync up with the world around them. Which is, ironically, a way that you learn how to manage your emotions. You learn how to manage your emotions by facing reality. You learn how to manage your emotions by syncing up with what's going on in the world around you. It's really that simple. Come out of the inner story. Pay attention. All the people who are destroying the world, oh my God, again, reality is a living, sentient, self-aware system. All the negative impacts and ripple effects you make while you're within this system, they get charged back to you. They get charged back to you, moving into the next life cycle. A lot of y'all have some debts. Man, it's going to be a while for you before you make it back into existence. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really, really bad. And the worst part about it is what motivates the majority of people to make the types of negative impacts they make on the world is simply they lack the ability to manage their emotions. They've never taken time to figure out how to manage this shit. All they have are escapes. All they have are quick fixes and band-aids, but they never got a healthy emotional state because they never reached a point of fucking honesty. They never had a desire to recognize and sync up with reality. It's problematic, especially if reality is the way that I describe it, living sentient self-aware system, because not managing your shit has allowed you to flippantly aggress against the system that is a perfect accountant. I'm not going to listen to you. My pride won't let me. Pride is an emotion. My pride won't let me hear you. All right. You don't listen. It's coming out of your ass, regardless of what you feel or believe. You don't listen. It's coming out of your ass. Anywho, yo, we ran a little bit long. Let me see who else we got here. Brother Donald Jones, my man. Love this guy, man. Yo, hey. Let me see. I didn't even see all the rest of these come in. I don't know if it makes sense because I agree with it, or if I agree with it because it makes sense. Very nice, brother. Absurd. Let me see. Donald Jones. How did you know I was crying? Oh, sweetie, it's like you put the emojis up, Miss Bernadette, but it's like it's all good. I'm not telepathic just yet, but again, I'm still trying to figure out what all of my powers are. Again, it's like I never planned to be this thing. I didn't even think Avatar was a real thing. I thought that people who believed in the ethereal shit, I thought that they were fucking ridiculous. And now I get to be living proof of the fact that I was wrong. So I have no clue as to what all comes with this package. I'm still waiting to break it open myself. I'm curious to find out too. I have vivid dreams about being able to fly. And that's like, I feel like I'm flying in dreams. It's crazy. I don't know. It's like I'm still figuring it out. But anywho, yo, I want to hit y'all up. Yo, let me see. Y'all know I am on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm obviously shooting this on Facebook Live. I am on YouTube. If you go to my YouTube channel, I have all of these videos posted. And then also I am on Medium, of which I want to post some more pieces before too long. But yeah, you can also be part of the Patreon family. I'm at Avatar Cycle XIII. You can always cash app your boy if you get any sort of appreciation or benefit out of what I'm explaining in the way of principles for the day. You can always be like, man, here's a little love for you, brother. I appreciate it. I mean, all proceeds go towards building this up to a larger platform. Again, I want to be able to reach and interact with as many people as I can before I'm out of this body. I don't even know how long I got in this, and you know, it's like again, just want to do what I can to help inform people to the best of my ability. You know, it's an interesting time. You have all these people who've made all these negative impacts on reality and on the world, just trying to satisfy their emotions, and even with all that they acquire, they're never happy. They're never content. They never reach a space of balance or nothing. They just want more and more and more. And if you're only answering the humans, that'd be one thing. Holding dominion over humans, it's not hard to do. You just have to be a little bit smarter than a handful, and then know how to weaponize the masses against those who might compete against you. But when you try to bring that shit to reality, the system, you lose that battle every time. Not sometimes, not half the time, not most of the times, every time. Learn how to manage your shit. Learn how to manage your shit. So yeah, basically, you know, I think I'm gonna tag out here before too long. You have to learn how to, again, manage your emotions. It's no one's job to manage your feelings for you. It's no one's job to make you feel more secure in life, to make you feel less uncertain. One of the worst parts about being honest in the way that I am is you lose the ability to act. You lose the ability to act. When I hit points of uncertainty, I mention that I'm uncertain. I don't try to act my way through it. Nah, just be honest about it. You know why? Because when you're synced up with reality, that's when you get options. I'm not always super confident. I'm not always cool and in the pocket. Sometimes I'm a little, but that's just being honest. Sometimes I hurt. Sometimes I don't know what to do. Sometimes I'm unsure of myself. The only way to rectify those feelings is to admit to them. I get that shit out the way first so that I can get to problem solving. I get facing my emotions out the way first so I can get to figuring out how to get shit right. That's how you do it. People waste too much time trying to act or trying to take their shit out on someone else because they're too afraid to face their own demons. Deal with that shit, dog. Get it done. It's your boy. I'm out.